don't remember what opening that was, but I took that picture at some point. Yeah. I have a feeling that picture was either taken in front of the Lortel or in front of, God, what was the name? What's the name of the party venue down there that you guys always operated from?
Oh, well, there was Sushi Samba, but
it was Sushi Samba.
It was, yeah,
yeah,
Sushi Samba, yeah.
49 Grove, or am I making that now? Is that something else?
No, that was also the downstairs space.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
that crazy downstairs space.
I know. Anyway, I'm David Gordon. It is Friday, September 11th. I am here with the artistic leaders of MCC Theater, Will Cantler, Bernie Telsey, and Robert LuPone, and we are talking about Miscast 20, the virtual version of their annual Miscast Gala, which is airing this Sunday night. You can catch it on their social media channels. You could watch it on our Facebook, because we'll be cross-streaming it with you guys, and we're really excited about it. So tell me, whoever wants to take the lead, tell me about the history of Miscast as an event for MCC.
Oh, sure. That's a Bernie question.
Well, it started 20 years ago, Hans, Miscast 20. But it was at the time that I was casting Hairspray. We all remember that musical.
Yeah.
And Scott Whitman, the lyricist of Hairspray, who's a good friend, knew of MCC and obviously had come to see the shows. And, like all not-for-profits, we're always trying to fundraise and try to do things. And we were already at that point where we were having gala dinners with our patrons and supporters. And he said, you should do this review rather than just have people come and sing. You should do this review and we should call it Miscast. You have the connection to casting, and performers then can do songs that they would never, ever get to sing or do. And he put it together, I helped a little bit with getting the talent, but he put it all together, which was a wonderful first year. We had Donna Murphy and Christine Ebersole and Patti LuPone and Peter Gallagher and Jesse Martin.
You get great people to do this every year. And it gets better and better and better.
No, it's great. After the first year, he said, okay, bye. It's now you take it over. And then for the last 19 years, we've been doing it. And it's just a great, great thing to work on, I got to say.
When did the decision to pivot? I mean, obviously, it was supposed to be earlier this year in person. But when did you make the official decision to pivot to doing something online?
Once we knew, first we thought we'd push it to June because, it was a 2-week quarantine, And then when June didn't look good, it felt like, it'll be over in the summer, so we'll push to the fall. And then it was, the end of June that we realized the fall was not going to happen either. And then we started pivoting towards doing it virtually.
How different is the process of setting something up for an online show like this than actually doing it in person? Or are they relatively similar?
They're similar in the sense that, you're starting off with the talent, of course, and trying to see who's available, who wants to do it this way, still with the theme being Miscast, of course. But it's a whole different animal, as far as, the rehearsals and the music element is much more like when you're working on a film. It's done in pieces.
Yeah.
So everything, as opposed to let's all show up at the office and we rehearse together. Now it was a rehearsal, then the music has to lay down the track, then the actor has to lay down the tempo, then the band has to come in and lay down their track, then it has to go back to the talent. So it was a challenge, but an exciting challenge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, so you guys are doing it with a full, what can we expect? I didn't realize you guys are doing it with a full band. I figured it would just be like.
Oh, yeah, no, we have a 4-piece band, and on some numbers, there's a 5-piece band.
Ooh.
We have choreography, we have animals, we got the whole.
You guys are really doing it up. You guys are. You're going
that's the other thing is, we're 6 months into the quarantine, so we've all learned how to film and how to use something other than Zoom. So we've really tried to make them inviting and entertaining now that we know we were going to reach thousands of our YouTube viewers.
Yeah.
We really wanted to make it personal like it is at the Hammerstein.
were people more amenable to saying yes for this situation than they are doing it in person, or was this a tougher sell because people weren't expecting?
You know, when Scott and I and Bob and Will, we were talking about it, just as easy and just as hard as it always is. Like the virtual thing wasn't, in some ways the virtual thing allowed us to ask people who didn't live in New York, whereas in the past, obviously they can't be here, you know what I mean? Because they can't fly and we can't afford to fly them and that kind of stuff. So it allowed us to reach out to people who we normally couldn't because they didn't live here.
Right.
Then, there's just as many people not available as always.
Right.
I mean,
surprisingly.
Right. Yeah. It's like, what are they doing?
Right. You know what I mean? So in that sense, we have some people who are alumni, and then we always like to have new people. But it was, I think the way we approached the songs was a little different in trying to, what is an audience wanting to see today? Because we're all feeling trapped. We're all feeling a little under. So how can we, be more uplifting or be more inviting?
Mm-hmm.
What are all of your favorite miscast performances from through the years?
Yeah, Bob and Will, what are they?
Okay. I can't pick out like a full-on favorite because there are probably half a dozen of them. Katrina Lank and Jonathan Groff. But what I really vividly remember is when Diana DeGarmo came out and sang "And I Am Telling You," and it's the first time really I remember that whole room at the Hammerstein. Most of those people didn't really know who she was, kind of American Idol. And all of a sudden, this tiny little creature ripped the lid off that song. And I remember seeing every head in that room snap up. And it was such a thrilling moment because it also encapsulates that thing that's so great about miscast, when somebody completely surprises and upends your expectations of who they are and what they can do.
Which is exactly what happened for me with Schuyler Brothers. That song, that was a terrific moment for me. But the moment that I'll never forget is Lin-Manuel Miranda and Raul Esparza singing "A Boy Like That."
Oh, yeah.
That's so beautiful.
The notes alone are hard enough, and the fact that they acted it and pulled it off was remarkable. And it's a completely different version than what was originally intended, and it works just as well.
I want to talk about the theater, about MCC.
Oh, sure.
I want to talk about how you guys are weathering the storm, because you had one show that was canceled mid-run. You had another one that was canceled right as it was about to start performances. We have no idea when anything is getting back. You have that beautiful building.
Right. That was our 1-year anniversary gift to ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's shut the fuck down. Like crazy.
How is the theater weathering the storm, and what kind of, I don't want to say trouble but what kind of trouble is happening? Are you guys okay? What's going on?
Yeah, we're okay. It's really hard. I think one of the hardest things has been trying to plan in a world where whatever you plan for, the information has been changing daily for the 6 months that we've been in this now. So we're still planning to be back on stage, but it's also figuring out how we do that pivot into presenting work that has some urgency and is live and present and vital through the internet, which has been exciting and challenging. I don't think any of us got into this business to be running a micro Netflix.
True.
But we're all starting to discover things that we can do that do reach out and touch people and affect them. And that continues to be incredibly important.
I can say that when we moved in a year ago in January, the thrill of finally accomplishing something after 30 years, etc., was remarkable. The opening ceremony was remarkable. It's forever seared in my mind. And to look at the space now, I was watching Bernie on virtually. Bernie was filming some stuff for Miscast, and the theater was completely empty. And a theater has to have people in it. And all of a sudden, not only did I miss the space, but there were no people in it. And so that to me is the tragedy of this moment, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of the theater. And at the same time, blessings to Will and Blake and Bernie for surviving this pandemic from March on, because we did tap dance a lot to be able to survive. We did tap dance a lot, and we're still tap dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm, and it's strange to think about because, like, you see the immediacy of the shows that were canceled right then. You don't think about the fact that, like, you guys probably had a whole season planned.
Oh yeah.
That
I mean, we had a third show after the two you mentioned. We had one in the summer. Yeah. And now our entire fall season has had to be postponed.
Yeah.
So now we're like 5 shows deep.
Yeah, we have a lot of contracts we have to fulfill.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking for the artists. That's what we're here to provide, this home for the artists, of which now now we feel like, sure, every Monday we make a new plan, but, like, is it real?
Right.
And that's what's really hard, having to face that.
Do you see yourselves, and stop me if there's stuff that you haven't, like, talked about yet or that you don't want to say publicly, but do you see yourselves, like, when we go back, are you going to, like, just pick up from where you left off, or is it going to be, like, a different thing, or are you not even there yet, because who knows?
I mean,
go ahead, Bernie.
We're there in our mind, and obviously the show that was just about to start previews, Nollywood Dreams.
That is probably just sitting.
Right. I mean, like, we're going to be doing that show. But as far as, and we're setting up dates and stuff like that, but everything is still so tentative that it's hard to book anything past the first show, because if that has to move, we can't do the whole domino again. Yeah. So, we're trying to keep everybody warm, but it's too hard.
It's crazy to think about. It's absolutely, and I'm sure it's not something that you guys, like, thought about when you were, like, building this theater. Like, I'm sure none of this ever crossed any of our minds.
Right.
No, not at all. And I got to say, it's like, it is, and I think I'm not speaking just for myself, but for a lot of people, it's really hard right now to think that, we're about to go into another fall and another winter, and we know we're not seeing theater like we knew it through those seasons. Yeah. Hopefully next spring. But, it's hopefully next spring. Exactly. It's just unfathomable that we're talking about having shut down what's part of the lifeblood of New York City for a full year.
Yeah. People are popping in the comments asking questions how theater lovers can help. How can they donate? Is Miscast a donatable show?
Oh yes, it's a free show, and there'll be a lot of opportunities right on the YouTube button where someone can donate. And
if you go to our YouTube channel, there's a button right there, a donate button right there.
Or they could go on now and even donate. It's already open.
Truly.
Are you guys planning, like, an online season, or because you had started, you were doing, like, readings and stuff online?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yes. Yeah, we're definitely going to do a slate of online programming. We haven't officially announced things yet, and there are a couple of ideas that we are cooking on that might be announced after we do an initial announcement. Let's put it that way. We're trying to figure out ways that we can explore the possibilities of the mediums that we're dealing with now. I have to say, like, a big thing that we're also thinking about, and I hope this will be some kind of a silver lining, but there is a world of online engagement that I think almost all of us as theater companies weren't really digging into before this, that I think we will all be bringing back to the work we do on stage when we are back on stage. And like thinking about that and digging into that has been one of the positive challenges of this.
Yeah, I think the industry as a whole has sort of ignored isn't the right word, but hasn't really harnessed it to its full potential. And now seeing what all of you guys are doing, all of the different theater companies, even, you know, a lot of the way people are staying engaged with their audiences is really heartening. And I do think it's exciting to see how you guys start become a micro Netflix, even if it's not the ideal method.
Right. I mean, I have to say,
Right.
it wasn't the ideal method, but the things that we did this spring really were thrilling.
Fantastic. Like, great
Exciting.
job.
You know, I mean, so now we're trying to push the envelope a little bit more.
Yeah.
And okay, what else could we do besides a reading of a short play?
Right.
Kind of
And
thing.
I was so happy to watch it all too.
Yeah. Great one.
Because it gave me the theater fix that I hadn't had.
Yeah, and the
Oh,
talk,
wow.
you know.
Gents, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, we appreciate it, and it's great to see you and catch up.
You too. I can't wait to see you guys in person eventually.
Let us know what you think about Sunday's show.
Oh, I can't wait. And you'll be able to watch it on all of their social media, on our Facebook. And if you're in the theater social media sphere, you'll find it somewhere.
All right.
Brilliant.
Be well. Thank you.
Thank
For your
you.
time.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.